Good morning, Belize. I'm Carlo Habet, and I'm joined by Mr. Giacomo Sanchez. And we have a couple guests for you this morning, including Ms. Yorshabell Cattouse from the Belize Chamber of Commerce and Industry to discuss the Belize Expo marketplace in its newest permutation. And then later we have Mr. Brian Louisy from the Caribbean Chamber of Commerce to discuss the road to private sector recovery regionally. So that should be an interesting discussion. So, Ms. Yorshabell, welcome. And
Morning, Carlo. Morning, Mr. Kimo.
morning. It's good to have you on with us, Ms. Yorshabell. And we'd like you to tell us a little bit about what the Chamber of Commerce has been up to as far as the Expo and these new market days that we're now embarking on.
All right. So, expos these days are not really happening in its original form. So, good morning, everyone. Morning, Belize. The Belize Chamber of Commerce and Industry, for its 101 years in business, representing and supporting private sector, has had small businesses at its heart. If you go back in the archives, you'll see so many Made in Belize campaigns we've done. At one point, we even got funds to get machineries, help the businesses to put together their products and export it to Europe. Also, we had the local handicraft center. So it's been in our bloodline, and promoting industries is actually our last name. Made in Belize, in 2018, we put off this trade show at the National Agriculture Grounds in Belmopan, and it featured mom and pop, micro, and for the most part, them. We had some other small businesses who participated. We actually had 75% of those businesses who participated. They were not affiliated with the chamber before. They were not members of the chamber. They were just making their products at home, and they needed that spotlight. They needed a channel, a platform to sell their products. So it was very successful in 2018. By the way, the Made in Belize, it's an official registered trademark of the chamber. So in 2019, we kicked it off again, very successful. 2020, we were preparing to have it. Pandemic came. We said we would postpone it. Things didn't change in November of last year. So we're here again. Things haven't changed. So we're not having this event at the Agriculture Trade Show and in the typical form that we would usually have our expos. With our expos comes a bit of fun and mixing business and fun. So nevertheless, not turning away any of these businesses that really need the opportunity to sell. And we as Belize, we do promote local entrepreneurs coming up with your own business instead of just depending on being hired. So we're partnering with the Belmopan Market Day. They have their market day Tuesdays, Fridays, and Saturday. It's not as that, spotlighting as the Tuesdays and Fridays. So we're taking Saturday, August 14, and we're having a pavilion. So we're mixing the market day with locally made products. You can come to the market day. The Made in Belize pavilion will be there 9 to 4:30. So while you're getting your vegetables and your fruits, you have the opportunity to also pick up, because it's all about just going, seeing what you have, pick up and leave. Pick up your locally made products.
Awesome. Thanks. So guys, please go to the Belize Chamber of Commerce and Industries Facebook page. There's a lot of great information there. You can also check out our website. Remember that we also want to hear from you. So if you want to submit something for a future show, or I don't know, can someone still make this show? Is it too late to make this current show yours?
No, it's 3 weeks from here. As I said, we have plenty of spaces available. We're still just using a fraction of the market day. So call us, WhatsApp us at 614-3138. That's our business WhatsApp. Or you could email us at bcci@belize.org. There is a small charge just to cover the administrative work in preparing and marketing you. There's stalls starting at $30, GST included. And everything we do, we have to give that support donation to the government also in GST. But what's the difference with partnering, going to a market day? Anybody can just show up at a market day, but with partnering with the chamber, we get you to taste a little what it's like to be a member. So with this, if you're never a member of the chamber, you get 6 months free trial with the membership.
Okay.
And with that come a lot of different benefits, trainings, and we discount cards, and we help better your network to learn from other businesses.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Yorsh. And this is just the chamber again fulfilling one of its mandates to its members, which is, to connect, capacitate, and champion. And actually, I think you're doing all of them all in one event, right? So, well, I also want to thank you, Yorsh, for joining us. We're out of time because we started a bit late, and we have another segment coming up, which should be very interesting with Mr. Brian Louisy from the Caribbean Chamber of Commerce. I don't know if you want to just reiterate one last time before we go to a commercial, Yorsh, just how to reach you guys in case you want to be a part of this event.
Yes, definitely. So there will be a Made in Belize pavilion at the Belmo Pond Market Day on Saturday, August 14. It will start from 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. So come and join the usual market day. What's special about it is that Made in Belize products will be there. So please stop in and support your local business entrepreneurs. If you have a product that you want to sell that is locally made, it could be a product or service, call us, WhatsApp us at 614-3138 or email bcci@belize.org. You can also go on our website, www.belize.org, and see all the different benefits that will be taglined once you join the chambers in this event, and in this event with the market day. So you can also check us out on social media, Instagram, Facebook.
Mr. Louisy, thanks for joining us. Good morning. How's everything?
Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for having me. We're not doing too badly over here in St. Lucia.
So, Mr. Louisy, perhaps Carlo alluded to what the CARICHAM is at the beginning, and perhaps maybe you could give us more of your vantage point in terms of your the organization, one, and two, the role you play.
Well, we are a fairly recently created organization. We are a network of chambers of commerce from across the Caribbean region. And this term, Caribbean region, is a very broad expanse. We're talking about 19 countries, 22 chambers. We go as far north as Bahamas, as far south as Guyana. We go all the way to the Bahamas, all across the other side of the world, Barbados. So we have a wide range of chambers. And the whole idea is for us to work closer together, communicate regularly, to see how we can further integration and trade and cooperation between the businesses across the region. Chambers are well-established institutions, over 500, 600 years old, and they are the branded name for business organizations, world recognized, have a good reputation, credible, sustainable, and have been operating and playing a critical role in representing the interests of their members for hundreds of years.
Awesome. Well, that's a great introduction. And specifically today, and I guess we can get into it only because we've been slightly delayed. We're looking at, the regional road to recovery. What is that looking like, just based on the other chambers discussions that you've had? What does that look like for us in the Caribbean region?
Well, across the region, I think we have recognized that vaccination is one of the keys to helping us on this road to recovery. The virus is an insidious type of creature that, you don't have to go to it, it comes to you. And you don't see it, but it's there. And now with the Delta variant, the transmissibility is exceedingly high. The threats of the virus are not just illness, but death is a real possibility. But moreover, there could be long-term effects. And one of the key ways of limiting the spread has been to shut down businesses and limit interaction with people. Limited interaction with people is hurting business, is hurting livelihoods, it is hurting people's ability to take care of themselves. The vaccine, however, has come in. And what the vaccine is able to do is to limit and almost eliminate the threat of death. As one of my medical friends said, the difference between being vaccinated and not being vaccinated is the difference between having a cold, a common cold, or ending up on a ventilator near death. That is the difference. And so we are the business community, the chambers of commerce have recognized that vaccination is a road to helping us recover. We fully understand people's concerns, and we do not think they should be dismissed. We think we need to treat people's concerns with sensitivity and integrity. We need to hear them out. We need to understand why they have their concerns, why they have this hesitancy. We need to understand the fact that there is a lot of misinformation and a lot of different pieces of information that appear to come from credible sources that are causing people to be concerned. So we need to reach out and provide credible information to these people. We need to allay their fears and allay their concerns. We need to show them that the vaccine is not as risky as people make it out to be. In any vaccine, in any medication, somebody may have an adverse reaction. But this is rare in most of the vaccines than we've seen in other common medications. Take, for instance, the big threat of blood clots. And when it was looked at in the UK, 27 million persons had the vaccine, and there were 3 or 4 blood clots. Compare that to the number of persons who are taking, the women who are taking the pill, where the risk is 1 in every 10,000. So we're talking about chalk and cheese. But we need to treat that, give information, be sensitive, provide the listening ear, provide the counseling, and bring them along. But we need to encourage people and let them understand that this is about reducing the risk for themselves, their family, for their grandparents, their children, their friends, and essentially and ultimately the livelihoods and lives of our economies and our countries. So many of us want to return to normal or a semblance of normalcy. It's a next normal, it's a new normal. I like to refer to it as a next normal. And so we do not hang out as we used to. We do not socialize, we do not travel, we do not trade. Look at us now, communicating via Skype. Whereas years ago, we did not really want to do that. Brian, you could fly up, and spend endless money. It is good to interact, good to see the world. But now we have evolved into a new type of action, a new type of relationship. And we need, if we want to have a return to a sense of normalcy, start to vaccinate. We need people to be vaccinated. And we need to tell them that what we're seeing in the US is frightening for those who are not vaccinated. We saw a 65% drop in tourism arrivals last year and about a 22% decline in our GDP out of COVID. And, you cannot sustain these types of declines. You cannot expect people to adjust immediately to this loss of income and livelihoods. And so, yes, the virus does cause many problems. It has impacted our economies. And across the region, we've seen countries to greater or lesser extent, depending on the impact of tourism. But it's also a time for us to unthink our development process, unthink our development strategy. We need to throw out the ways we saw or thought things should operate and think in a new way. And I like to call it unthink, We need to understand that we need to have a diversified economy. We need to have diversified source markets for our goods, our tourists. We need to have a more local content so that we are less dependent. We need to find ways to make our people continue to be creative and to live. And we have that ability. And so I think rather than just try to reboot, we need to unthink what we are doing and see how we could do it, because the truth is there is going to be another global scare, and we need to be prepared. So we need to build resilience. We need to build alternative ways to ensure that our businesses are continued. We need to look at business continuity, look at disaster risk analysis and assessment. We need to look at how we can make our countries and our businesses more resilient to these types of shocks. And so we need to unthink how we approach our business and how we strategize, because our economies and our people are certainly having serious hits from this current situation.
To follow up on this idea, because I know we touched on this earlier, and I know we're almost out of time, but governments, we're talking earlier about how governments are not the answer, that it has to be private sector led. I would totally agree with that. I think we've seen differing levels of aid from the government directly to people, consumers, but also to businesses, different incentives. But I think we're seeing that, we've got to the point now where it's kind of running out. What is required of governments now? Is it policy? I mean, do they have to get serious about changing things that have been just sort of like dinosaur years old? I mean, is it something that we have to say, okay, look, we don't need free money anymore, but you need to really create some policy that will effectively put more money in our pocket, through, let's say, revised taxation and stuff like that?
Yeah, I think there are a myriad of issues and reasons why governments are not very responsive. But I think this is, again, part of the need to unthink. What exactly is the role of government, and how does government cause change and businesses to grow? And what is the merit of it? Sometimes the government doesn't necessarily see the merit in working with the business community, or the approach to working with the business community is steeped in historic approaches that may not be relevant at this time. And I keep saying that, and you'll hear me use that phrase, we need to unthink the things of the past. We need to see that we have a business community that, if we want our economy to grow and our people, and the economy is about the people. It's not about the business, it's about the people. We want our people to have improved standards of living. We need to figure out, how do we cause our companies to be more profitable so they can pay better salaries? Companies who do not have good incomes do not pay good salaries. Companies who are making money are in a better position to pay good salaries and have a positive impact on people's livelihoods. How does government play that role? But we understand government has its own responsibilities. How do we find a happy medium? And how do we identify what that happy medium is? So I think unthinking what the challenges is. How does our policy impact people? And how do we want it to impact people? Do we want our people to constantly be haulers of water and hackers of wood? Or we want our people to be entrepreneurial and to enjoy a higher quality of life? How do we do that? How do we organize ourselves, our incomes, our revenue, our tax system to impact people? Because if we don't think of the people, so when we have a policy, how does it impact the people? And when you talk about the people, we're not talking about the wealthiest. We're talking about those who are disadvantaged. Because if we have less people poor, businesses will see more spend. So businesses themselves have an interest in seeing incomes grow and people doing better. When you have your average income being too low, the businesses can expect to have bumper crowds buying their goods. So there's a symbiotic relationship that we have to come together to understand exists, and not stop playing one off the other as though we are competing. We are not competitors. We are partners. And I think that unthinking about why we are here and why we are doing these things needs to take place for our economies in the region to grow.